Hi, and welcome back to Studio Atlanta. I'm Daniel Martin, and today I have my wife Denise with me. We've worked together for 35, 36 years doing weddings, and if you're new into the wedding photography business, I wanted to share with you our guideline that we've used for about 35 years to make it work. First thing, once you meet with your bride, you're either meeting with them in person or they've booked you by just seeing your pictures online or whatever the case may be. From there, you'll want to get a signed contract, everything in the contract, the time you're starting, what to expect contract, and you'll have specific times for everything to happen. That way, if you have a bride or groom that's very late, those are pictures they may just miss. Stress this to them before the wedding, because if you don't, your bride and groom will always pretty much be late. So stress to them the utmost importance of the times on those contracts are the start and the ending time. Being a member of the Professional Photographers of America will also give you liability insurance, which is amazing. You really need insurance when you're doing a wedding, because even if you think the pictures came out great, the bride or groom might have a different idea of what great. You don't want to end up in a lawsuit that's going to cost you a lot of money. So get insured by the PPA. It comes with your membership fee. We've got a timeline that we just created one. Example, if at 12 o'clock, I would go start with the guys getting ready and get the pictures of him by himself, him and the groomsmen, and him and whatever families happen to be there. And always make sure the boutonnieres are on, because you don't want to forget that, because I usually do. So I end up shooting double, because I always forget the boutonnieres. So even after this long, you still forget. Denise?
So while Daniel is shooting the guys, I am in the bridal suite, also shooting the girls as they get ready. I do standard pictures like them getting their hair done, jewelry on the bride that she's going to be wearing for that day, her garter. I try to get shots of the flower girls if they are there, putting them in front of windows, just taking cute pictures of multiple groups. The bridesmaids, we can get them if they're in robes on couches, and just capture the moments that are there. So once they are dressed and ready to go, I definitely get pictures of the mother and the groom's mother most of the time, helping the bride put on her dress. Those are wonderful pictures to get. And I try to make sure that I get hand shots of them zipping up her dress, and try and get some fun things also, just to make sure that it's completely covered. Then I will give it over to Daniel at 12:45 for him to start taking the more formal pictures of the bride and her bridesmaids and the flower girls, if there are any there. Once we have finished taking their pictures, around 1:30, we will send them back. Both the bride, the bridesmaids, and the groom and the groomsmen should be tucked away from 1:30 until about 2 o'clock when the ceremony starts. That doesn't mean you can stop taking pictures. We still separate and go to opposite sides to take more pictures. A lot of times you'll get pictures of them putting on boutonnieres or the girls just relaxing. You can get mirror pictures. Those are always great to have. Then at 2 o'clock, the ceremony starts, and most ceremonies last about 30 minutes. That's what we plan for. And so then at 2:30, we start the after ceremony pictures. You're going to need someone who can kind of organize all of that. If there is no wedding planner there, then Daniel and I usually play that role. We will have the names of the people that are there, so all of the family members, and we start with the largest family group first. That just helps Daniel, as he knows what kind of lens to put on his camera and how far to back up. And we start with the large groups and then narrow it down until we get to just the bride and the groom. So then we head to the reception, and Daniel will take it from there.
On this timeline, we would have the reception starting at about 3:15. Most of the time, your bride and groom are going to be announced. So 3:15 is the time for you to get over there and get your equipment set up for the 3:15 shot, even though they probably won't be announced till about 3:20. It takes them a while to get in the line, find everybody, and for the wedding director to tell them when to go. So make sure you've got your shots ready. They'll come in most of the time and do the first dance, the mother-daughter dance, that sort of thing. So make sure you're set up for just them on the dance floor. We will go through, then we'll usually let them eat, give them some time to eat. We'll walk around getting candids and do a lot of close-up shots. So like if they've got a wedding cake, get a picture of just the side of the cake. You don't have to shoot the whole cake. I mean, I would shoot the whole cake, but also shoot just sides of the cake. Little details, napkins, that sort of stuff. And then once they finished eating, a lot of times we help our bride and groom save money by not keeping us there for 8 hours shooting dancing pictures that nobody really needs to pay for 8 hours worth of dancing pictures. So in this timeline, the reception would actually start around 3:15, 3:20. We would be there till about 5:30. At about 5:15, 5:10, somewhere in there, I'll get with the DJ. You need to coordinate with the DJ a lot because he's the one with the microphone to announce that we're going over to do the cake cutting shot, and the garter and the bouquet throw. And a lot of times we'll do a fake going away, which is where we have, they'll have sparklers most of the time. So you might want to, if you're new, start your IS up a little higher than you normally would outside so you can pick up the sparklers. Otherwise, you're not going to pick up the sparklers in the pictures. They'll just be dimmed away and you won't be able to see them. We'll fake they're going away, make sure that everybody knows that this is not them really leaving. It's just a shot that we can get done to add to the end of their book to give a closure to the wedding that we just photographed without them having to pay for so many extra hours of just dancing shots.
And some last minute tips for those of you who are new to wedding photography. Make sure that you always ask your bride to send you some sample pictures that she likes and would like to have taken at her wedding. Even though we supply a shot list, it's always nice for her to send a couple of pictures that she's pulled offline, simply because that allows us to see her style of picture that she likes, and it also helps us to manage her expectations. If the bride is sending you pictures of a cliff on a sea, on the ocean, and the bride and the groom up at the top of this cliff, then they're getting married at a barn or they're getting married in a location that doesn't have things like that. You need to make sure that you tell her you can get that pose, but the scenery will be different based on where she is. We also need to stress time. I know Daniel already mentioned this earlier, but brides are notoriously late. So we always like to tell them that we have a timeline. We share that timeline with them, and we let them know ahead of time that if they are not ready on time, less time means less pictures. And that normally gets the point across. Also, if they have young children included in their wedding, so ring bearers, flower girls who are extremely young, like 5 or under, you need to make sure that you have a limited time frame for them to have their pictures taken. If they want only pictures with them in their wedding attire, then you're going to want to wait until right before we release them to go back and get ready for this ceremony before you take pictures of those young children with the bride and the groom. They're going to have a limited amount of time that they are not tired and frustrated, or you can wait to take those pictures until you're taking your after the ceremony pictures and get those then. There's always a chair somewhere around or a staircase or someplace that you can put the bride and the groom and then bring those children to them. Also, be prepared for plan B. No wedding ever goes as expected. The cake may fall. Groomsmen or bridesmaids may faint in the middle of the ceremony because they've locked their knees. There's always something that happens, and you need to be calm and collected for your bride so that you can assure her that you're going to get the pictures that are required and that she is going to love her pictures, even if it didn't go exactly the way she planned.
Yeah, it's very important, especially if you're new, and I don't want to do it, and I've been doing this for 37 years. Take somebody to the wedding with you. I don't care if they don't know anything about photography. Just having that extra person there for you saying, hey, grab this lens, or if you've done something stupid, there's 2 people for them to look. Well, that was an example timeline of how we would do it. Now, every wedding is going to be different. But keep watching our videos. We're going to keep putting out information for you to know. There's a lot to learn doing photography, and a lot of it is a lot more than just understanding how to get a good picture. That's only half the battle. Keeping people happy, and on the wedding day, keeping them focused and not angry, like she said, that the cake didn't come out like it wanted or the boutonnieres aren't right. You've got to be able to just ease their mind and let them know it's still going to be a fun day. Well, we thank you for joining us today. And if you'll take a moment to hit that subscribe button down at the bottom, we'd much appreciate it. And we will be giving more tips about weddings very soon. Thank you.